Hey, everybody. Welcome to Buffalo Plus and the Buffalo Plus YouTube page. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates, and Jenna got the short straw today. She's up in Orchard Park. Well, Jenna, tell us what ended up happening today, why you're outside, what's going on.
All right, so driving up to practice, it was basically a rainstorm. It continued to rain, but the Bills said practice would be outside. Then we got here, and if you can see the clouds and the rain, practice has been moved indoors, meaning that we do not have access. But I'm standing out in the rain to give you that report.
Yeah, all right, thunder and lightning going on, so we'll move this along quickly to let you get out of what could be some dangerous weather. The vibe up there today, 3-0. They'll be gone. Well, at least we know one thing. They're going to be in the desert, and they're going to be inside for the game coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why they decided to move practice indoors, other than the rain, is, look, we know that that's not going to be a part of the plan or anything they really have to deal with this upcoming weekend, being in Vegas, being inside. So I think Sean McDermott made the call. And also the injuries that we've seen throughout the first couple of weeks, really wanting to play it safe. And, of course, that starts with not practicing in a downpour.
Yeah, it's interesting. I felt like even though it was a new week and the Bills are 3-0, it was the same motto and it was the same Sean McDermott. He was asked a lot of questions about COVID. He was asked about the Titans. He was asked about the Raiders having some kind of get-together. That's much better, Jenna. They had some kind of get-together and kind of some other things that are going on. He was also asked about fans, but McDermott reiterated, control what you can control. Was that kind of the vibe that you got, Jenna? Like he's just beating that same drum.
I think it was just so Sean McDermott. We know that he loves his coach speak. We also know that he has those phrases that he locks onto, like the playoff caliber, trust the process. And I think control what you can control is a similar vein of find a way in terms of things and mottos that he has picked up for this 2020 season. And there are a lot of things that the Bills cannot control and the NFL cannot control. And I think Sean McDermott is just trying to keep the messaging clear for his team and not have them get preoccupied or worry about things that really they don't have any control on. So I'm not surprised. And I think today too, like, they're controlling what they can control in terms of the environment that they're practicing in and the fact that it is similar to what they're going to see this weekend. So I think I'm not surprised by Sean McDermott. And let's be real, it's regular season Coach McDermott talking. Like it's Sean speak. We know what we were getting. So yeah, not exactly surprised to hear it.
Right. Control what you can control. Jenna listened to the message from Sean McDermott and she got inside her car to talk to us.
I did. Well, you guys know I'm in Orchard Park. The stadium's behind me, but it's a little bit easier to talk when you're not being rained on.
Hey, Dan, the other part is, we talk about they can't do anything about the Titans, but this does impact the Bills and quite possibly in a positive way, in a sense of the Titans are going to have a scrambled week. They're going to likely play maybe Monday, maybe on Tuesday, and then the Bills are there the next Sunday, and they won't move that Bills game because the Bills play the next week after that on a Thursday night. So they can't move that game at all. So in some ways, it could be working to the Bills' advantage.
Right, but Sean McDermott's not going to take this as an advantage or see this. Like, I've always joked around, and you guys have called me out on it before. Like, he can't be looking ahead at Tennessee. And I know that the question had to be asked to him. What?
Just because you can't admit that you're looking ahead doesn't mean you don't actually look ahead. I think it would be irresponsible as a coach to not look down the line.
You're right, Jenna, you're right. And in his mind, he's not relaying that to his players because they have to focus on this week. And he's right, because it has nothing to do with it. But, like, he's looking, going, look, if they didn't play the Titans, it wouldn't enter into his mind at all.
Right.
But they know now, what he's going to say is, we're going to be delayed seeing tape from that game. The game's going to be played later, like all those things that happen for it. But at the same time, it does impact what his team does. And Jenna, the other part is he's messaging to his players constantly about these things, right? He has now real life examples of what can happen to a team when someone strays a little bit, right? It's what appears to be happening in Tennessee.
And I think that's one of the things, like, they have been very strict, the Bills in particular. And I think we these past couple of weeks, the NFL has been very lucky to not have any issues or incidents. And I think seeing this, it's like, okay, Sean is going to continue to preach that, hey, we got to be smart. We have to be smart because these things can happen. And obviously they are happening to other teams. I mean, for me to come to the game this past weekend, and I know Mike the same, we had to watch a health and safety video. We had to do all these things like we were Bills employees, because to them, if you're in the facility, you are essentially, you know, a part of the Bills organization and are someone that could put the team at risk. So I think just how strict the team is, I think what happened this past weekend and what happens, like, absolutely proves that Sean McDermott, like, he is preaching that, and for a reason.
Hey, Dan.
Right, but preaching can be, you know, just words. So, like, this is another prime example. If you can say how, you know, we're going to find a way and we're going to do all these things, but now you really have to do it. You really have to, like you said, block out what's going on in Tennessee as much as you can. Sean McDermott probably has the assistant coaches worried about Tennessee, and his ops people, they're the ones worried about Tennessee. McDermott has the utmost respect for John Gruden and a banged-up Raiders offense with a defense that Sean's got to worry about on his own with his defense.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I wanted to get to one other subject. Yesterday, we saw the Bills issue a statement about fans in the stands, and I know a lot of people were kind of down when it said, like, foreseeable future and all. But then Governor Cuomo today saying he's going to meet with the Bills, he's going to tour the facility, or at least come and talk to the Bills because he's had conversations with Roger Goodell. Dan, I think it's still on the table. I don't know about that Chiefs game. Maybe that's too soon. And I don't know if things like this Titans, even though it had nothing to do specifically with fans, I don't know if that impacts it at all. But I think for the governor to come out and say that, he would have no reason to say it unless it really is back on the table that they could have fans.
Yeah, and that's why I thought it was vague that the Bills said foreseeable future. What does that mean? I thought it was a nice play by the organization to kind of keep dangling that carrot out in front of everybody. Like, we could get there. It's just a matter of when. But I agree, Mike. Governor Cuomo has been, you know, hasn't really said anything that he hasn't really stood behind, and he hasn't brought up things, especially with the Bills, even from the beginning, saying, you know, he hopes that the sports teams can play, but as they can do it safely. So I think him touring and him meeting with the Bills is a good sign for the, quote, foreseeable future.
Yeah. All right, Jenna, we're going to let you get out of there in a second, but I wanted you to give at least a brief injury update and the update on a player that we have not seen on the field for the Bills yet.
Yeah, so Josh Norman, remember, he's on IR. Sean McDermott said that he will be at practice today, but his designation is not changing. So just because he's at practice, we don't believe that he is.
And in terms of designation, they can take him off the IR and put him on
so he is eligible to be. Yes, so he is technically eligible to be taken off of IR. But Sean McDermott says at right now, on what day is this, Wednesday, that he is still on IR and will not be practicing. John Brown also not practicing today. He had that calf injury on Sunday. Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano are practicing today. So the Bills linebackers, they obviously played this past weekend. Seems like they're continuing to play. That's a great sign. But John Brown is definitely someone that you saw. The Bills, you know, his presence was lacked in the second half on Sunday. So that's definitely something to monitor going forward.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens, Jenna. We're glad you're safe and indoors right now.
Yeah, you're telling me.
And out of the rain. Dan, I didn't feel anything here.
It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was
I'm
nice.
going to go get some wings. That's my consolation prize.
That's it for your trip up there. All right, plenty of coverage on Buffalo Plus. By the way, subscribers continue to fly up on the YouTube page. We're really happy about that. Join the club, right? Join here. Join the club that is joining Buffalo Plus on YouTube. We thank all of you for watching and listening, and keep checking back for more content as the week goes on. For Dan Fates, Dry at Home, Jenna Cottrell, in her car, I'm Mike Catalano. Thanks for watching.